discrimination came up, when we were analyzing data, and they involved ethnicity.
The beauty of Metropolis from the original conception of it was to ensure that knowledge could be shared between the policymakers, the researchers, and the service deliverers. And hence, the way in which the invitation is extended requires that each of the sectors in the workshops be represented around the table, so that over the course of the year, where all these researchers and service providers and policymakers are hard at work and very often in their own silo, Metropolis provides a really unique opportunity for them to get together, forces them to sit around the table and talk to each other, so that we can be sure we're all on relatively the same page when it comes to the broader objectives of serving newcomers.
The Metropolis project really made a significant difference in terms of immigration scholarship in Canada. It strengthened, as I said, the partnership between academics and community. It helped us to, those of us working in community, to have data to inform the kind of programs we were developing, and it also helped in our advocacy work around public policy as it has to do with immigration and refugees.
I first started with Metropolis in 1999, and that really fundamentally changed my whole orientation to my research.
Line of evidence, we use a key
Going to Metropolis, it brought me into the orbit of policymakers and NGO people that really, I would have no other way of meeting.
Online platforms are.
20 years ago, there were many, many fewer people who were doing research in this area, but now, of course, it's become a very kind of core area of social science research. And I think partly that's a result of the Metropolis project.
What's really valuable about a forum like this one is that it brings together different constituencies. It brings together the research communities, and it puts those researchers in contact with people on the policy side from government at various levels, and with community organizations, with the community support organizations that are working to support integration of refugees and migrants to Canada.
There's a real dynamic, I think, that's created there, and I think one of the really interesting things, and I think the most valuable things, is that you can actually talk to colleagues, friends from across the sectors in a way that you can't talk to them if you're going to their office, because they've got a business hat on. Here you can have those conversations in the hallway that wouldn't take place anywhere else.
Metropolis is a place where we can meet people from other provinces to learn from others. For me, that was the key aspect of these large conferences, because we network a lot. I mean, there's plenaries, there's workshops, but there's also a lot of discussion that happens outside these events.
Metropolis has always been a gathering of like-minded people. And certainly as far as media goes, this was always refreshing for me to be in a room with those who are really pushing the boundaries, and certainly Metropolis, between the NGOs as well as academia, is helping media support the reality that is out there, supporting the self-esteem of communities. So certainly to me it's a very important gathering, and I think one that is not really replicated anywhere in the world.
That whole conversation between NGOs, academia and government, I believe Canada has to continue that, because I think the world is becoming more complex, so we cannot really feel that we bring these people to this country and we want them to integrate without having a evidence-based decision making in all levels, in policy level, in program level, in a community level.
Having the opportunity to meet with service providers and also community members has provided me the opportunities that I would have never had before.
Out of those conversations that we are going to strategize how that we are going to be making sure that the research is going to go to the point in which it can be executed at the level where we work, which is at the practitioner level.
For me, on the ground, I always need evidence. I always want to know, is what I'm doing actually accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish? Is there something I can do that's better? And coming to Metropolis informs both of those questions for me.
J'ai pu croiser une personne, mais il y en a plusieurs comme celui-là, qui, lui, travaille dans les politiques municipales et qui ont une approche qui est vraiment empirique pragmatique, opératoire par rapport à des défis qui se posent de façon globale. Et ça, je pense que pour quelqu'un comme moi qui est professeur d'université, donc qui est habitué à parler à une classe de manière très abstraite, spéculative, théorique, critique, d'arriver à pouvoir engager un dialogue avec des gens qui vont prendre les enseignements qu'ils ont reçus en classe, mais les éprouver directement dans ce qui se passe sur le terrain, je crois que c'est la chose qui est la plus enrichissante pour quelqu'un comme moi qui vient du monde académique.
I am one of the immigrants who came 37 years ago to Canada. I didn't have all these wonderful services we have today.
What I like about the web formula is I can get answers. I think that one of the beauties of Metropolis is people are aware of the concerns that exist in certain parts of the world with respect to immigration, and they are sensitive to some of those concerns, and their way of addressing it is to ensure that we've got the best possible practices and programs in place, and we're going to have this conversation to determine what needs to be done so that we can avoid some of those insecurities, fears, and worst case scenarios emerging in Canada.
La grande force de Metropolis, c'est d'avoir réussi à créer des synergies entre chercheurs, décideurs, comme on les appelle, à la fois décideurs communautaires et décideurs gouvernementaux.
Research, policy, and best practices. Being at the table with those three sectors really broadened my horizons.
What is fascinating is meeting people from other parts of the country, small towns, small cities, who come and talk about their challenges and who tell us about the solutions they came up with. And this is where we see the creativity, where we see the genius of individuals and communities contributing to making Canada a welcoming place and a better place for everybody.